Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. I hope that your week has gone well and you are looking forward to the weekend. I know that it is finally sunny here, which it's been weeks, so we will take it. I want to hop on today because I'm really excited about this topic. And I said probably going to have to make a series out of this because there are just way too many good sleep myths and sleep facts. So today we're going to hop right in and we're going to talk about some of these facts and myths. And I think it becomes fun because sometimes we hear so many things or we read so many things, and sometimes we get confused on what is myth and what is, fact. So the first one that I want to talk about, because if we haven't heard this one, I know your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents probably have all chatted about this, and this has been a conversation in your house. So the first thing that I want to ask is, it's bad to wake a sleeping baby. Is that a fact or a myth? It's bad to wake a sleeping baby. So, although sometimes it seems harsh that we're going to wake a sleeping baby, who would do that? Doesn't make any sense. It actually, when it comes to sleep, we actually do have to implement periods of where we are waking a sleeping baby from their sleep. Once your baby, gets adjusted to their circadian rhythm, which is somewhere usually between 3 and 6 months that they're regulating that, there's nothing wrong with waking your sleeping baby, because you need to make sure that you're keeping them on track with their feedings. They're getting enough daytime food, they're getting some stimulation, they're getting awake time in the day, and then they're able to sleep. And therefore, honestly too, then we're not having, where they're sleeping too much in the day and then fighting bedtime or fighting overnight sleep. So it's important that we do have to wake a sleeping baby. Now, when we're talking about newborns, obviously they're going to spend the majority of their time sleeping. But it's still periods where you are going to have to wake the baby to make sure that they're needing to eat often day and night in the newborn stage. So you are going to have to wake to make sure that you're feeding them, changing diapers. Again, even the newborns need some stimulation, a little play. Especially if they have day-night confusion. That's one thing that you need to keep in mind. If they have any day-night confusion, you're going to have to help work that out. And a lot of things are by giving them sunlight, napping them in the light if they have day-night confusion, those type of things. So we do have to wake the sleeping babies, and I know I get it from clients all the time that especially grandparents or aunts and things are watching, and they'll say, well, they wouldn't wake a sleeping baby, but we have to just wake a sleeping baby sometimes. So early versus late bedtime, which is right? Early bedtime, late bedtime. What do you think is the best option there? So usually in the early months, when we're talking about newborn up until 2 to 3 months of age, we will actually see babies that prefer and need that later bedtime because their sleep cycles again are different. They don't have their own melatonin built up at that point. It's much different to see babies who nap later in the evening, and then they may be having 8:30, 9:30, even 10 o'clock bedtimes at that late stage when they're newborns. That is normal. But around, by the time they're at 3 months old, we should actually be seeing that bedtime move earlier and earlier. So we may have, babies that are napping, at 8 o'clock, and then they start pushing to 7:30, 7 o'clock. Once we hit that 3-month marker, we should start seeing earlier bedtimes in place once they're leaving that newborn stage. Now, there are newborns that do prefer still earlier bedtimes. It's just more common at the newborn stage to see later bedtime set up because of how their internal clock is and everything that's working inside of them and how their sleep is laid out. It's normal to see that. So definitely, by the time that you have 3, 4 months and up, we should start seeing earlier bedtimes. The most restorative sleep happens up until midnight. So if our baby is going to bed at 9 o'clock, if we have a 6-month-old that's going to bed at 9 o'clock, they've missed several hours of restorative sleep. And that's where we're growing, we're developing, everything is starting to work. So, we need to make sure that we are getting them to sleep when they need to get to sleep. What that also means is you're going to have to watch your babies who are napping to make sure that they're not napping too late. If you have a baby that's napping well into 6, 7 p.m., again, once we hit that 3-month, 4-month marker, of course their bedtime is going to be much too late. So we really have to watch and make sure that we are, watching to make sure that last nap is not too late. Next one. Let me see. True or false? Your baby or toddler will sleep through the night when she or he feels ready. So, your baby or toddler, do you think will fall asleep and sleep all night or through the night whenever they feel like it? So, actually, that is false because remember, number one, that sleeping through the night is a stretch of 5 to 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep. So, many parents confuse sleeping through the night with 11 to 12 hour sleepers. Two different things. Let's talk about that first. A 5 to 6 hour stretch, usually in that range, is considered sleeping through the night with an uninterrupted stretch of we didn't need a feed in there. Or if they woke, they were able to put themselves back to sleep. Versus a baby or child that's going to sleep 11 to 12 hours. Those are two different things. So some babies are naturally better sleepers than others. Yes, that can be the case that we have some that are higher need sleepers, some that may need a little bit lower need sleepers. So they're all going to be different in what they need, again, because sleep is a science. The next thing is, as they are 12 weeks old, many babies will do this by the time they're 6 months. So by the time they're usually 6 months old, we can have some babies who are sleeping through the night that are getting 5, 6, 8 hour stretches. Yes, there can be 6-month-olds that are sleeping for 12 hours, 11 hours straight. It's a smaller percentage, but there are babies that can do that at that age. If you've laid the foundation for sleep and they are able to put themselves to sleep at bedtime, they don't rely on props or you or something to put them back to sleep. If their naps are looking like they're in a good spot, you are going to lay that foundation so their body is going to be sleeping longer stretches as it's ready to, and they're not depending on something to put them to sleep. The thing about sleep is something that we have to help them with. We have to help them learn to self-settle. We have to help them learn to get longer stretches of sleep, which is healthy. It doesn't mean, a lot of times people think that they hear that word, I don't use the word sleep training a lot because I talk about sleep education. It's all about educating you on what's age appropriate for your baby. And how can we get the foundations laid early? By you helping your child get better sleep is not anything that we should, say that it's a bad thing that you're, helping your child learn to sleep. It's a great thing. We have to be able to grow and we've got to be able to develop and we've got to meet those milestones. And to do that, one of the biggest parts of that is sleep. So we can help them get the foundations laid and then they could be able to get longer stretches, better stretches of sleep when their body is ready. It's normal that there's some 6 or 8 month olds that still need feedings overnight. That's normal for some, yes. But the difference, make sure that we are feeding, they're taking their nutritional feed, and they're going back to sleep for another good stretch of sleep. So I talked about several things in that one. It just made me think about a lot of things that I usually always get questions about. And you're actually helping you and your child when you're able to help them learn the skills they need to get themselves to sleep, get better stretches of sleep. And let's get real, everybody feels much better when we are well rested. I get this one a lot, and I just thought this was really fun. So, hi, welcome, thank you for joining all the way around the world from Turkey. I love it. True or false? Sleep consultants must stay overnight at your house. So that, of course, is a big false. I've been doing this for over almost 6 years, and I've never stayed overnight at someone's house, and I've helped lots and lots and lots of families. Everything I do is virtually online, through apps, through emails, through Zoom, FaceTime, all those good things, live videos. I even send videos to clients, so all of that good stuff can be done without staying overnight. I do in-home consultations where I go into someone's home for a few hours if they want that option to talk about sleep, to talk about their questions, talk about what they maybe need me in person. But you do not have to stay overnight, and I have not done that. And all of my families have had wonderful success because I find it even better because I'm not there doing it for you. I'm there along the journey helping you every step of the way and telling you what we're going to do, but you're actually there doing it. And so when you have bumps in the sleep road, you are actually going to be able to handle it, which is great. Oh, this is a good one. This is great. This is another one that I know we've all heard. Is this a myth or a fact? Babies on solid food sleep longer. That's a fun one. I love this one. Babies on solid food sleep longer. We know that that is a big myth. That babies on solid food does not equate to you're going to sleep better. Some babies manage to sleep through the night as early as 8, 10, 12 weeks. Some babies need nutritional feedings until 8, 9, 10 months. There are even babies who might need it at 11 and 12 months. One of my children had a lot of health issues. At 11 months old, she still needed feeding in the night nutritionally. So every baby's going to be different. But just because you start introducing solid foods to them, or just because I hear this thing about put cereal in their bottle, that does not mean that they're going to sleep longer. So even, more the American Academy of Pediatrics, they discourage feeding baby solid foods before 4 to 6 months of age. And the digestive system is very immature. And we want to make sure that we're not loading it up with a lot of extra things because obviously, breast milk and formula are what babies need that first year of life. That's their main nutritional source. So we don't want to introduce anything too early, and it does not mean that they're automatically going to start sleeping better. Oh, this one's come up a lot lately, and I think it's because, number one, it's come up a lot with clients of mine because they're at that age where they want to start introducing, something in the crib because they feel like the baby's moving too much, their arm might get stuck in the crib rail. But myth or fact, crib bumpers protect babies. Crib bumpers protect babies. So that is actually definitely false. Crib bumpers of any kind should not be in the crib, should not be around the crib. They actually pose a lot of issues, strangulation, suffocation, especially if we have those thick ones. Obviously, we want to make our nursery super cute and, they're fine for pictures and all that, but actually once baby's in that crib, we need to make sure those crib bumpers are gone. I got this week from a client, which is a great question. She said, what about the mesh crib bumpers? Those are actually not allowed either. Again, it's a safety issue, and actually you're tying things. They have the string, because I'll tell you, with my first, he's almost 10 years old, so 10 years ago, there was the crib mesh bumpers, and I thought, this is great. There's no suffocation issues. I'm going to put these around his crib where I need them. No, because there's string. You tie them, there's a string around it. There still could be suffocation if one came loose, and baby got that in the night, so no crib bumpers of any kind can be in the bed. Not mesh, not cotton, not anything. So we need it bare. I know that one's hard. Let's see the next one. Fact or fiction? This one was fun. I thought this was a fun little question. Sleep has nothing to do with your little one's ability to learn. So fact or fiction, that sleep has nothing to do with your little one's ability to learn. So, although many people don't know, studies have shown that sleep deprivation or unhealthy sleeping schedules can cause problems such as crankiness. So we know that sleep deprivation, lack of sleep, low sleep totals can cause crankiness, aggressiveness, poor attention. Our memory can be foggy. Obviously, we hear that a lot just as adults, how groggy we feel and feel that we can't concentrate as well if we're not sleeping as well. Studies also have shown that even as little as 1 hour of sleep deprivation can affect school-age learning. Even 1 hour of sleep deprivation can affect school learning. And here's a little piece of information about me in my past. I'm a former elementary teacher, and I taught 5th grade. And one of the reasons I got so into sleep was from the lack of sleep I saw in my students and the total effects it had on them, from their focus, from their memory, to their aggression, to their falling asleep in class. It really showed me what sleep can do and how it can affect us. And that's where I really got into learning more about sleep, was how can I help people not have their children come to school every day and falling asleep and unable to focus and cranky and all kinds of attention problems just because, they were having inadequate sleep. So it's really important to know that it can affect you. It can affect your child. Just getting a small amount, if say we didn't even get 30 minutes to an hour less than we're used to, how it can affect them the next day and moving forward. Make sure your little one and your family gets the right and healthy amount of sleep. We need to make sure that, I think in this quarantine, the good part of the quarantine in the last year and being at home is I've had so many families that have worked on sleep and actually, put an effort into making sure we get sleep on the right track because they've been home. We haven't been as busy. A lot of times what I see is families, obviously, and I'm in that boat too. My son plays baseball and basketball and other sports, and he's out late. So I really try and keep to a minimal how often that happens and make sure that on the weekends we're able to recover, or make sure that I don't overload his schedule with too much and I don't overload our schedule. Many times I have sitters come for my 2 girls who are much younger and need to be in the bed earlier than he does. So we can avoid all of that. We have to think about our lifestyle and our schedules and things like that. If our babies and children are getting home late, night after night, multiple times a week, it's really going to affect them, and it's going to affect you, and it's going to affect how they feel the next day, especially now that I know a lot of schools and things are getting back into the swing of it. And it's going to be really hard if we've had a night where we haven't gotten to bed when we need to and we're not getting that good restorative sleep we need to see happen. Let's see. Let's do 2 more. True or false? You don't have to manage your child's naps. True or false that you don't have to manage your child's naps? That's actually false. Naps similar to night sleeping routine are essential in your child's life. So it's important to set up a mini nap routine that you have for them, just like you would in the evening for a bedtime routine. By having to regulate naps during the day, you will make sure that your baby won't get overtired and that they will also rest enough and get enough sleep that they need. So you have to regulate their naps. You have to make sure you're watching their naps. Again, newborns, they're going to be much different. They could be taking 5, 6 plus naps a day. It's going to be much more erratic, but once we get to that 3 to 4 month marker, we start to see regulation in the naps. We start to see regulation from the internal clock. They start to see melatonin that's now they're producing on their own. So it's important to remember those that you do have to, watch their naps and make sure we are getting them in place when they need to get in place. Let's see the last one. True or false? Toddlers need less sleep than babies. Toddlers need less sleep than babies. This one's, I always get mixed reviews on this one, and it's really fun. So the fact is that toddlers will start to sleep less and less during the day, but they may need to make that up at night. So they're going to still be sleeping. They could be sleeping 11 to 12 hours at night, just taking in less nap. So it's organized differently than babies. Babies may be taking 3 naps a day, needing those naps plus their overnight sleep. So it's not that they need any less sleep, it's distributed differently. Now, of course, there may be some that completely remove the nap. Obviously, toddlers that completely remove it, they're ready to sleep overnight, but they might be sleeping 12 hours. And you have a younger baby who's, still in the 14, 15-hour totals. Of course, those would be a little different. But a lot of times families think, because I have a toddler, they just need a lot less sleep than the babies need. And it's actually not that. A lot of times it's just distributed differently in how they can, where they're putting their day sleep and night sleep together. So, like I said, I actually could keep going on and on and on about this because I have so many fun true, false, myths, and facts all about sleep. But I'm going to stop there for today. We do have, I believe, some question and answers that came in today, but I don't have them pulled up right now. So today is Friday, as you know, that's question and answer day. Be sure and pop your questions into the post, and I will go in and answer those questions that you have. I think we had some, so I'll be sure and answer those for you. January's fully booked, February's filling up, and I'm really excited because that means every time that happens, it means that I'm helping families get better sleep. And at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I want to help you and your family get sleep going in the right direction. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me or chat and I will love to answer your questions. And then keep sending. You guys have had some great questions you've been asking me, and even topic ideas for these live sessions. I go live every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, usually I always have a new topic to talk about, and a lot of times I will answer your questions live on here as well. So keep sending those to me. I've really enjoyed those. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and headed into the weekend, and we will chat again soon.